All right, hello and welcome back to Borderline FPL, Season 1, Episode 16, the podcast that constantly crosses the line between FPL advice and Premier League banter. And my name is Chris.
My name is Ben, and God, I'm not happy about this week. Um,
You just got,
Jesus Christ,
it's so funny how on weeks where we play bad, it's just insta, like we have to talk about
depression.
it.
No, it's just instant depression, bro, is what it is. But that game was obviously last in the week, so we'll save it for then. We'll see it reflected on the table, but a new leader on the table, Chris.
Yeah, a new leader
A
that
new leader,
you've
on the
definitely been
table.
backing this whole season, and I think it's
Yeah.
hard to not back them. I know I said I still think Chelsea win, and I still think they definitely have a possibility to, but they're going to have to step up their game a little bit. I mean, obviously they played West Ham this week, who are a fantastic team all around, honestly. I love watching West Ham play.
They're
Genuinely.
fun, man. They are a fun team, but I mean, did they deserve the win? That last goal, like,
Yeah,
yo,
the
like,
miss
yo, like, I'll put it this way:
It was
if
100% across. Do you see
if
Masuaku's
oh,
tweet?
he didn't, yeah, no, I saw it, not even close to like a shot. I think it
Yeah.
took I was shocked it didn't go down as an own goal. Quite honestly, the
Mhm.
deflection it took. But
It
what made
didn't
me
take
think
a
of
deflection. He just
did it really
sliced it
not?
really
I could
weird.
have sworn it hit the defender's leg.
He just
That's so
completely
weird.
mishit the cross, and it like went right into
I
the top
literally
corner
thought
of
it.
near
I
post.
literally thought it hit the defender's leg and like went that way. That's even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so West Ham somehow stole 3 points from Chelsea with that ridiculousness.
They played well though overall. Like take
No,
nothing
they
away
played well.
from
Yeah,
them.
no, like I said, it was 2-2 before that, so
Yeah.
like it was a good game. Um, Chelsea obviously bit of a struggle. They have a game tomorrow in the Champions League, so obviously this will probably be up tomorrow, hopefully before that game, but obviously monitor that
Yeah, it
game
will be.
from Chelsea Assets
Mhm.
and every Champions League game. I know there's Chelsea play tomorrow, United play tomorrow.
Liverpool played today, right?
Liverpool played today, they won.
No injuries.
Um, no injuries. They
Okay.
didn't start the best lineup. Salah scored, Origi scored.
Okay. So
Um,
Salah, I saw Salah and Mane both started, which is odd in my opinion, but
Yeah, I don't. They didn't need to. They already won first,
that's what I'm
but
saying.
I
Thought that was
I don't
weird
know.
from
I
Klopp,
don't
but
pick
especially
the
because he's
lineup,
always the one super vocal about how.
but like too many games,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you're gonna go play them in kind of a throwaway for you. But I mean, it helped. Well, it really helped Atletico Madrid as they qualified for the Champions League round of 16 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And their game was wild. But back to the Prem. Also, West Ham play Thursday. Spurs play Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, Chelsea play tomorrow. So teams 3 through 6 all still play in Europe this week. Man City lost today actually to RB Leipzig.
Didn't matter, right? It was a training match.
They don't care. It was whatever. They had good players out there, but it wasn't like
I mean,
I
it's
know
hard for City to field a bad team.
Bernardo Silva didn't travel. Rodri didn't travel.
And neither did Cancelo.
Cancelo didn't travel. De Bruyne was subbed off. I think Foden maybe played a little bit.
Foden was subbed off at halftime. Apparently,
Yeah.
he was playing kind of bad. I don't know.
That's fine. I don't care. I have him in FPL, so I'd rather him not play.
Okay.
But yeah, so obviously monitor all of those. Monitor what Pep said. Someone got a red card. I'm not even sure who got the red card for City today, but they lost. But like I said, it doesn't matter.
I think
They
it was
got
Kyle
first.
Walker, if I saw that correctly.
They got first. PSG got second in their group. Leicester. Leicester have a massive game actually on Thursday. They have a massive game. It is winner goes through.
Okay.
Or
so
winner wins the group.
Vardy didn't play this weekend. So
Yeah, and that's
why
why they're playing at Napoli. I think in the San Siro. It might not be the San Siro, it might be Milan Stadium, but they're playing at Napoli, and the winner tops the group. So
Okay.
that is of vital importance to both teams. So expect Leicester to feel, if you have Leicester assets, they're going to field their strongest 11 possible come Thursday. So watch that, be aware of who plays, who doesn't, how the game goes on, obviously injury wise. But yeah, West Ham continuing their top 4 push. Spurs finding form under Conte. Ragnarok getting his first win at United with a 1-0. If you want to scroll down to the bottom of the table a little bit, it was Newcastle.
They finally got their win, Ben.
They finally got their win to bring them all the way to 19th.
Yeah.
It is right there, those 3 teams, but they're not that far off. Like if you look at it, like I'd say, I don't think Palace are in a relegation race. I think they're a good team. But Leeds down, I think they're all.
I think Brentford has slipped back down there as well.
I think Brentford could get caught. I think Palace will survive. I think Brentford, jump Palace, and down, and those are the teams that could find themselves in a dogfight come.
I agree.
Next year.
I agree. I think if I had to pick the bottom three right now, Ben, for the end of the season,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be
Norwich, obviously.
Norwich,
Yeah.
Burnley,
Mm-hmm.
and Brentford.
I'm going Norwich. I'm going Watford, and I'm going. I want to say Southampton or Newcastle, but I'll say Southampton. I think Sean Dyche is too good to get relegated. He's done this dance 1,000 times.
I typically agree, but I don't know. Actually, they haven't looked that bad, but they only have
That's
one
what I was
win
saying.
as well.
I know but Sean Dyche is a master at these things, and I've learned to never bet against him from staying up.
Yeah, that's fair. I just didn't. I just, as much as I kind of like want it to happen just because of the storyline, I don't think Newcastle will go down. I think
That's what
Watford
I'm
have
saying.
looked really good under Ranieri, personally,
Mm.
especially in attack. And I don't think Leeds will get sucked into it now that they have Bamford back and they're starting to strengthen again.
Mm-hmm.
But Brentford, I can see getting sucked back into it. It may end up being Norwich, Southampton, Brentford.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what
But
happens. But anyways, we can get into this week's fixtures if you want, unless you have anything else to say on the table.
nothing much to say on the table other than it's disappointing seeing us below Tottenham and United.
Yeah,
I
back-to-back
think
losses, three
this
losses out of the
race
last
between the
four.
top three right here is still going to be incredible to watch
Yeah.
throughout the season. And honestly, West Ham could even sneak into this race if one of them start to drop. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't honestly think West Ham can challenge for the title, but I think they could end up third or maybe even second if either of
I mean,
those
if
teams
they
start
get
to
if they
lose
get
form.
Champions League, that's ridiculous for them. If
For
they
sure.
land in a Champions League spot, that's beyond massive for them. So
Yeah, no, I
we
agree.
shall see. We
I
shall
agree for
see. There's
sure.
some good
Okay.
games
Well,
coming
yeah,
up.
I'll go ahead and pull up the games from this last week. Um, game week 15, we started off with
This
West Ham
one,
Chelsea, Ben.
yeah. I mean, like you said, it wasn't like a smash and grab for West Ham. Like they played Chelsea and they played them hard, and Chelsea scored some good goals. Thiago Silva coming back into the side. I'd expect him to be rested tomorrow, honestly, against Malmo.
Yeah.
Very light game. I know they've qualified. I don't know if they've top. I think they can lose top spot in their group, but don't quote me on that. They might have already locked it up. But I
Chelsea, I'm
expect
pretty
them to
sure
be.
they already locked it up.
They might have locked it up because I think Juve dropped points elsewhere. Although Juve did beat them once. Um, so yeah, they look solid, but it was West Ham. Lanzini again. Bowen, he's becoming a serious candidate, goal and an assist against Chelsea. And then the Masuaku kind of ridiculous goal, which got Antonio an assist as well.
Yeah.
So kind of crazy there, but I don't know. Chelsea, that's back-to-back weeks that Chelsea haven't looked as dominant as you expect them to,
Yeah.
almost. Like I know they won last week against Watford, but it's Watford to be fair. And it was 1-1 for a while, and then you lose to West Ham, which is a team that if you want to be competing with the Manchester Cities of the world, you kind of have to win these games because these will come back to bite you come January, February if City are 4 points ahead of you and you look back and you're like, oh, even a draw out of that game and only one game off or something.
Yeah. I agree. So Lanzini obviously stepped up to take the penalty
Mm-hmm.
that I think it was that Bowen got dragged down for.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think some people were expecting Antonio to be on penalties, but Antonio historically doesn't have the best penalty record.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of how that went down. I think Bowen looks fantastic going forward. Personally, I think he's a great player in real life and in fantasy. 6.4 million currently, set to probably rise in price by the end of the week, maybe even by the end of the night. So unfortunately, most people, if they're listening to this tomorrow, he may have already risen. But I think West Ham looked good. Ben Johnson came off with an injury really early on, got replaced by Masuaku, who scored the winner. And Kufal is back in the starting lineup, and Creswell's still out, so we may see left back Masuaku starting for a little bit. I don't know how long-term Ben Johnson's injury is. It said, I think on the app it says hamstring, so I'm not sure how serious that is. It could be a week, it could be multiple. which is unfortunate because they're about to go into a really good run. And I was talking about how I thought he was the best 4.0 defender in the game, which if he's starting, I still think he is. But obviously, I'll monitor that. Chelsea defense, Ben, they're, it's not a huge deal, right? Because City didn't keep a clean sheet either. I feel like at the moment there's a lot like kind of
double City, double Chelsea.
Yeah.
Which one are you picking?
Right.
Yeah.
And that this could have been a hurtful one for people with double Chelsea this week, but City found a way to concede again. We'll get there. But what do you think about Chelsea defense? Do you think
I only have one. I have one, and I think it's worth.
You have Rudiger,
I have
right?
Rudiger, and I got him back when I think he was like 5'5" or 5'6". So I got him on a cheap. So for me, it's not that high of a risk just to have one, and I'm kind of willing to take the punt. Also knowing how forward that guy likes to get during the games. I know he's not Reece James or obviously Ben Chilwell was before his injury, but he does get forward a fair amount and generates a decent amount of chances.
Yeah.
So I have no problem in my team, but if you're looking at doubling Chelsea's defense, yeah, there is reason for concern. A, just because of pure rotation risk, and B, also you never really know what's going to happen. They've kind of looked a little shaky these past couple weeks.
Yep.
It might just be the magnitude and constant amount of games they're playing, but it's definitely something that I don't know if I would take the punt on at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I've said all season, and obviously, I mean, it hasn't really mattered in terms of fantasy, but Chelsea have been outperforming their XGC most of the season, meaning that they should have conceded more goals than they have at this point. So they've kept more clean sheets than statistics would say that they should have. I am not sure I would want to have double Chelsea defense anymore. I don't think it's like a, super priority transfer. Like if you're doubled up on Reece James and Alonso or Reece James and Rudiger or whatever, I think you probably have other fights to fight right now, or I guess other battles to fight. But I don't think maybe it's a long-term stay at this point. I think a lot of what I said earlier on the season is starting to shift, where I said, I think a lot of people are on big at the back right now, investing a lot in their defense, a lot of money in their defense, and now we're starting to see those mid-priced midfielders kind of stick their hand up and say, hey, I'm here, so people are kind of shifting more towards into putting more money in their midfield with players like Mount playing really well week in and week out, Bernardo Silva, Jared Bowen, Foden, if he's playing in the team. I think there's a lot of good options there. So I think, your team structure kind of depends on which players you have or are able to get at this point in time, and that may make a difference long term.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Well, Antonio finally getting an assist at the very least. He's still on my team. I'm happy to have him moving forward. I think some people that don't have him may be wanting him back, or I don't know. I mean, you could definitely just look for a cheaper option in Bowen and just skip Antonio altogether. I think that's valid.
There's options there, and even his assist this week was pretty fluky. It was the Mount
for sure.
goal.
Yeah, for sure.
So yes, it's a return, but is it a confident return? No.
No, not necessarily. But I also watch West Ham, and I watch them play, and he's involved in everything. Like, I don't necessarily have, like, a concern about him, like, playing poorly or anything like I do, like, Harry Kane.
Like you said about the Chelsea double-up, if you have Antonio, you probably have other things to worry about. I wouldn't prioritize him.
If you've kept him this far, you're not getting rid, right?
No,
I was just talking about for people that don't have him or got rid, is it... Well, actually, you did, didn't you?
I got rid, yeah.
Yeah. So is he on your radar to bring back in at any point in time?
I'm probably just gonna bring in Bowen, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally fair.
Plan.
Oh, well, that's what I was saying.
Bowen. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's move on for this game. Unless you had anything else here.
No, we can move on to game number 2. It was a penalty that separated.
It wasn't penalty this week.
Oh, it wasn't a penalty. It was
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're right. So it was a low-scoring game, a huge relegation battle, 6-pointer again. Newcastle with huge games of back-to-back weeks. Callum Wilson got it done, and I mean, more or less, that was it. It was a fairly boring game, as you would kind of expect between the two teams.
Yeah. Well, so the goal was very opportunistic by Callum. Pope kind of came out to try and get the ball away and fumbled it a little bit, and Wilson took it off of him, dribbled around, and then hit hit a nice little shot that he knew he had to get some height on in order to get it over the defender standing in net. Finished it really, really nicely. But huge 3 points for Newcastle. They're going to need that moving into this festive period. They have Leicester away this week.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, tougher game for sure, but Leicester's defense has been shambles, to be honest. They're scoring goals, but also conceding a lot of goals. I think if you're a Wilson owner or a St. Max owner,
you hold this week.
I don't know if he's their priority sells.
No,
that's for sure.
They have Leicester away, and then they go into a really tough stretch of games.
Yeah.
So if you're trying, like me, I'm going to roll my transfer this week. I have St. Max. I'm just going to hold him for this week and then probably get him out next week when I can do a two-player move. But yeah, I would hold him for this week, and if he doesn't return, it's whatever. He doesn't return.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't freak out. After this week, I would probably get rid of all your Newcastle assets as they are going into a ridiculously tough 3 or 4 game stretch.
Yeah, I agree with you completely there. And very, very happy with my Callum Wilson punt. Obviously, he's returned 9-pointers 2 games in a row, and that's exactly what I wanted out of him personally. So I'll keep him this week and then probably get rid next week ahead of their tough fixture run. See if he can get me one more goal. That'd be nice. Yeah. Burnley struggled here. Cornet came off early with an injury.
Keep an eye on that.
If you're a Cornet owner, keep an eye on that for sure. Let's listen to Sean Dyche, his press conference this week. I don't know if he's a priority sell. If you have a deep bench, you can maybe bench him for a week, but obviously, tune in to see how bad the injury is. And other than that,
there's nothing else on
nothing
that
really
I'm looking at. Yeah, it's kind of a dull game.
Yeah, I don't think
from an FPL perspective, other than the strikers, it's pretty dull.
Yeah, you're not investing in either. Well, you could invest in Burnley defense.
I just got some fairly big news actually.
What?
Spurs have asked the Premier League to postpone their game against Brighton this weekend.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that is that tweeted? What did you find that on?
That's from an internal email with my NBC team.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, we're getting in the loop footage here. It'll probably come out before we release this pod.
They're obviously getting that from somewhere. They're not getting that exclusively from Tottenham or something that's been released, I'm sure. But it's been public. I'm assuming it's public information now that Spurs are trying to postpone their game due to a COVID outbreak.
Okay. Well, yeah, we knew about the COVID outbreak. I was going to get there once we talked about Spurs.
Sorry, yeah, that just hit my phone.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Relevant. Let's actually go ahead and skip to the Spurs game, Ben, just so we can talk about it while it's on our minds. We'll come back. But, yeah, Spurs won 3-0 this week to Norwich. Son getting his goal, the third goal. Lucas Moura had a crazy good goal, playing a 1-2 touch with Son and firing it into the net from outside the box. Sanchez got a nice kind of rebound off of Davies' head on a corner and put that into the net. Norwich did not look threatening at all. Spurs are going to look good and look solid against teams like this. Conte has solidified them a bit with this 5-in-the-back formation, and I think one of the most impressive people that have come to light out of this is Ben Davies. Just kind of getting back into this Tottenham team, playing left-sided center back for them in this 5-in-the-back formation, and they looked good. Reguilon came off injured at the kind of towards the beginning. He got a yellow card and then came off, so a 0-pointer for owners. That's disappointing. But he did tweet out. He literally tweeted out. Did you see it, Ben? Reguilon's tweet.
No.
He tweeted out, "It's just a little injury. I'll be back soon. Don't sell me in FPL." So he literally tweeted that.
That's wild.
So yeah, owners, maybe you'll be able to hold on to him. Well, but maybe not, obviously. So with this news, we heard that 6 players at least for Spurs have tested positive for COVID.
Yeah,
in the last
they're already.
days.
It's important to remember they're already a game behind the loop because they had their Burnley game postponed because of weather, not COVID. Now, if the Premier League allows them to delay their game, will they just allow it like a week? Will it be a couple of days? Will it be way later in the season? I have no idea. All I've heard is they've asked. Yeah. Obviously, that's probably public knowledge at this point. I'll literally Google it like in a minute. But yeah, so we'll see if that's even allowed, or we don't know what players it is either. They're keeping their cards close to the chest.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't released that information yet. I was under the impression that COVID tests were meant to be publicized pretty much as soon as they happened. I know they usually take it once or twice before releasing it to the public information just to make sure it's not a false positive. But
it's already so here it is. It's on the Telegraph. Tottenham could ask Brighton to postpone their game for their outbreak. Tottenham boss could ask for postponement. Yeah, it's all around the news now. TalkSport as of like 10, 11 hours ago.
Well,
Tottenham
so with this information, Ben,
and that doesn't mean that it's going to happen either. It's just they're thinking about asking. They might ask the Premier League. They may have already asked the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
The Premier League can turn around and say
no. Yeah.
Sorry, we have a schedule to run. You're a game behind. We can't afford for you to be 2 behind. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. It's tough for FPL owners. Personally, I have Son. You don't have Kane anymore. We'll get to that later. But do you have any other Spurs assets?
No, I don't have any other assets. I know some people have Spurs defense though. They have.
I know Spurs defense. Yeah, Reguilon,
Reggie, Davies, Dyer.
Yeah, there's players, but the thing that makes it so difficult is we don't know who has COVID.
Yeah.
So like we could get there and it could be. I'm just gonna name 6. It could be 6 players, and none of them could be Son. None of them could be Reguilon.
Right.
Or it could be Son, Reguilon, Davies, Dyer, Kane, and then they're just throwing out whoever.
Right.
So that's what kind of makes it tough. Do you sell? Do you hold? You may not know until match day.
I think if you're a Spurs owner of Spurs players that you may want to keep, so i.e. Son, Reguilon, Davies, Dyer, then I would hold my transfers until the very last minute on Friday and wait to hear if they release any information about either A, if the game's going forward, and B, who the players are that have COVID, so you can make the best decision for your team. If you have depth on your bench and this is a player you want to keep long term, then obviously maybe not sell. But that's a tough ask for, Son owners specifically. That's $10 million that you'd have to bench for a week, and who knows if it's even more than that. If they have COVID, typically they'll miss out on 2 weeks.
It is, and they have a huge game Thursday as well, so we might find out a lot on Thursday.
True. Because they have a European match.
And if they lose that match, which they've lost, they're playing Rennes. I don't speak French.
Yeah.
They're playing them, and if they lose, I think Vitesse is the other team in their group, or it may be Antwerp. And if the team that's favored to win wins that, Spurs are out. Done. Don't even finish second.
Okay.
So they're going to have to play their best 11, you would think, because they're playing the team top of the group. I think they're in second or third right now. I think they're in third. Mm-hmm. So if they don't win and the other team can jump them, then they're screwed. So keep a very close eye on Thursday's match. See who's playing. See, more importantly, who's on the bench, who's not even in the squad, who's not traveling. Mm-hmm. That'll give you your best idea as to who is who and who is not in this team.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Conte will probably have to release that information at some point.
He might not have to release it. He might just have to show his cards basically with the team he fields. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think he's going to comment on it. I think that he'll just have to obviously lay his hand down when he releases his lineup on Thursday afternoon.
Okay. I think Son was looking like a very good FPL option. I think most people who probably had him would be keeping if, bar this COVID interruption. Kane owners like myself, obviously we went for the punt. It did not pay off. I could not wait to get him out of my team. He's already gone. We'll get there. But I just didn't want to look at him in my team anymore. He made me so mad. And who knows, who maybe he'll finally start to score now that I've sold him. So, maybe if you're an owner as well, you might want to keep him now that I've sold him, because that's how it's been going this year. But
honestly, hat trick next week.
Yeah, Norwich, not much to say on it. Pookie, if you own Pookie, this is probably the point where you're starting to say I should be selling Pookie, because their fixtures are about to start to get tougher. They had a really nice run for a really long time, so people that had Pookie probably held him for a while. And this is probably the point where you're looking at maybe getting rid for better options, maybe going down to a Watford striker, or maybe moving up to a Aston Villa striker, or other options. Bamford's back now. They have a really tough run, so you probably don't want to go there. But there's starting to be more options for sure. So, but yeah, let's go back up now that we've talked about them. Anything else to say about Spurs?
No, Kane's a fraud.
Okay.
if any other major player had one goal this late into the calendar season, the media would dismantle them.
Well, I think he has been getting a lot of shtick from the media, to be fair.
I don't know. I think he always gets off a little easy. But anyways,
well, he is England's star boy.
That's why. Yeah, that's my point. Is he's the golden child. Yeah, it's Mape late show again. Like every freaking week, bro. If you're a Mape owner for some reason, like I would literally take a nap for the first 90 minutes. He's not gonna, because he doesn't bag until the plus go up after 90. Yeah, like it's literally so instinctive for it's not just this season or this week. It's like his last 2 years in the Prem. This dude does it.
Yeah,
every time
he loves.
It's like the ref holds up the little added time. He's like, "Oh, cool, now we play." Yeah. Like literally, that's his like bat signal or something. I swear to God.
His bat signal. He said.
I swear to God.
That's awesome. Yeah, no. Southampton won. Brighton won at St. Mary's. Broha actually had a really nice goal in like the 20th minute. He kind of dribbled their defender. I think it was who was it? That defender. It wasn't Livramento. It was the center back.
Veltman or Dunk?
Oh, why was I thinking a Southampton defender when he's on Southampton? I'm a dummy.
No,
it was Duffy, I think.
Okay, Duffy. Yeah. So, I was like, I don't know why he dribbled Livramento, but I'm just gonna name all the Brighton defenders.
Thank you. This is why you're here. This is why I need you.
I'm just gonna name every Brighton defender I can think of.
Yeah. No, it was Duffy, and then slotted it away like a nice outside the foot finish in the bottom left corner. And then the rest of the game was pretty dry until like he said, the 96th minute. Mape.
That's all he does.
Gets a goal off of honestly, Motor took this free kick. It hit off the wall, and then he took a second shot into the box. And Mape was on sides from the second shot and just stopped it, and then basically slotted it away. So it's a pretty lucky goal for sure, but it's just what he does.
Bro. How many times has he gotten that lucky goal, right? Like it can't be luck if he does it so often, surely.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, if you started Livramento this week, that's heartbreak for sure.
Yeah, no, that's not fun.
That was like me. That was like me 2 weeks ago when I had the double City defense and then Lanzini scored in the 94th.
Goal of the year candidate in the 94th minute, like literally 94-12, and there's 4 added minutes. It's literally like, oh yeah, if this goes anywhere but in the net, the game's over. They didn't even kick off. So.
Yeah. Well, so I think maybe did Adam Armstrong start this game? I think he missed out this week.
I don't think he played this week.
I just don't. From FPL perspective, Broha's like 5 million. Adam Armstrong's like just under 6.
No, he's 6.
He's 6. Okay.
He's 6.
And then Shea Adams is like 6.5 or something. Maybe actually no, he started at 7. I think so. I think he's like a little bit under 7. But I don't love any of those options just because you don't know who's going to start week in and week out. It's like I
think there's better. I think that honestly both Watford boys are better options than either of those.
I agree. That's what I was going to say.
I think that you can get better options cheaper.
If you're a Mape owner, I just think you have balls of steel because
you're insane.
I don't
insane,
know.
But it works.
I don't know anybody personally that owns Mape, but there are definitely some people out there, and
you're insane,
I'm not even going to give you FPL advice because I just think you're above that.
Personally. You're too good for our show.
Yeah,
turn it off. And should never encourage
turn it off,
like,
unsubscribe.
Should never encourage someone to like not watch. It's like this is like the exact opposite of what they teach you. You're trying to like build your brand. It's like if you still have Mape in your team, dude, like why are you watching this? Like you're so
watching
beyond
our podcast.
You're so beyond what we could teach you. Last thing I'll say on this game might be relevant. Southampton, I believe, didn't they sign Willy Caballero?
Did they?
Week? I'm 90% sure it was Southampton.
Wait, how are they signing people right now?
He's a free agent, so you can do whatever you want. Let me look it up. Willie, I saw Caballero.
He's a CDM, right?
No, he's a goalkeeper. The former
Caballero. Yes.
Yes,
they did because both of their keepers are injured.
So they signed him on a short-term deal. I have no idea what his price point is coming in at, but I would assume it'll be
4.0
or 4.0, and I would expect him to be their starter over this Christmas period as they wait for their goalies to get healthy, basically.
Okay. Is it long term for McCarthy?
I have absolutely no idea, but it's serious enough to where they went out and signed like a 40-year-old goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So, just a heads up, if you are a McCarthy owner for whatever reason, he's injured and Caballero seems to be the guy coming in. I have no clue the duration of that, but just wanted it to be known. If you're looking for a cheap 4.0 goalkeeper who is set to be a starter for a little bit, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
But
the only
just
reason
like
I
said,
would see that as a transfer is if you're on wild card.
yeah, if you're on
soon.
wild card and you want to take a punt on him, maybe. But I just wanted to let the people know that there is a new goalkeeper on Southampton.
Yep, cool.
Yeah.
Brighton. The only things I have to say there is, honestly, I don't have much to say. I did have one. They're actually about to be without 6 of their 6 players for their match that should happen against Tottenham if it does. Let me see. I want to search it. Brighton players. Because, okay, 6. Time out. Anyways, they're going to be without a lot of players if this game for Spurs goes through. Up to 8 Brighton players out. And one of them is Duffy. One of them is the midfielder who's been playing striker for them all season. Why can't I think of his name right now? Trossard, thank you. So, okay, here are the players, sorry. Dunk, Duffy, Webster, Sarmiento, Lallana, Welbeck, Trossard, Alzate are all out for this potential game against Spurs. So
is that injury?
I don't know if they're all injury or if maybe some of them are yellow card suspensions. Yeah. But if this game does go through and you're a Sun owner, golly, man, they're without 3 of their starting center backs.
If this
Dunk,
game
Duffy,
goes through
and Webster.
And Son isn't having COVID, It's a feast. It's a literal feast.
Yeah. And I mean, I just sold Kane, so that may come back to bite me, but probably not because he's been so bad this year so far.
But yeah, so keep an eye. This Brighton Spurs fixture obviously is
up in the air.
There's so many question marks surrounding it. We just went into it for a while, so I'll leave it be.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting thing, right? Because if they're asking Brighton if they want to postpone, Brighton may agree.
Brighton going to say, yeah. Brighton going to say, hell yeah, we do. We have 3 center backs. We have Adam Lallana out. We're missing Welbeck, the GOAT. Like, hell yeah, we want to postpone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but also the Premier League could be like,
comes back to the Prem.
Sorry, money. Like, we schedule money things you want to use in Europe. If that dies, that would be easier, but and Spurs are also still in the League Cup, so it's difficult to reschedule. Right. So,
okay. Well, yeah, I mean, if this doesn't go through, potential triple game week for Spurs at some point in FPL. So that'll be an interesting one to talk on later on in the year. All right, let's move on. Wolves 0, Liverpool 1. Late game winner. That's what he does, Ben. Divock Origi.
He did it again today in the Champions League. He scored the winner. It wasn't that late, but he did it. Yeah, I mean, great for Origi. Not many people have him. Salah assist. Obviously, a lot of people captained him. But the story of this game is if you're a Jota owner, like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Literally, brother. Like, Chris is a Jota owner, so he's not going to laugh, but I am. So
no, I mean, I thought it was funny. I don't know how you missed that.
I don't know how the keeper somehow messed up and Jota was in. And there were 2 Wolves players, like, on the goal line, but also, like, right next to each other, right? And Jota literally could have sat down and read a book before he takes his shot. And he just rips it straight at Connor Cody. Yeah. Like, straight at this brother. And everyone's like, oh, my God, what a block. And I'm like, no. Yeah. That's, like, the miss of the year until Nketiah played on Monday. But, like, that's the miss of the year from Jota. Like, a wide open net. I mean, credit Connor Cody, right place, right time. And he kept it out of the goal. Like, that's your job. But, yeah, it's incredibly frustrating for Jota owners to see him miss something like that.
Yeah, it is what it is. I still think he's a fantastic asset in FPL. Yeah, I mean, that's why we like him, obviously, is he gets in these positions where he should score the easiest goals of his life. Whether he does or not, that's up to him. That's a different story, but I'll take the statistics of my players getting into those positions all day, every day. Mm-hmm. Wolves fought pretty hard in this game. They had a decent defense, but they looked completely a non-threat going forward. And, it kind of looked a little bit like they did under Nuno. This is the game plan you got to have against Liverpool anyways, is just to sit back, try and absorb, and let Adama Traore try and run through 100 players and maybe finally make a final pass.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to talk about. Liverpool defense looks solid. But also Wolves offensively didn't look great. TAA getting another 3-pointer, a bonus. He's just a bonus magnet, whether he assists or not.
He is. Legend.
So he's up to, I think he's up to like 8.1 million at this point, Ben. That's the highest price he's ever been in FPL.
Yeah, I don't understand the bonus system. I don't think anyone could ever like fully explain it to me, because like sometimes people just get bonus points, and Trent is that guy of just getting bonus points.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of statistics that go into it. You can actually look it up on the Fantasy Premier League website. It shows you.
Yeah, but there are still times where like I just fully don't understand. Like sometimes there are guys that score 2 and someone else will get the 3 bonus points or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But obviously Origi coming on and saving Liverpool's bacon in this one, keeping them where they need to be.
Mm-hmm. They would have been upset if they drew this game.
If they drew with the chances they had, it would have been ridiculous.
It was a big opportunity, obviously, knowing that Chelsea dropped points.
Yeah, so they kept it rolling. Origi saved the day.
And this sent them top of the table before City played. So
yeah, no, there were 3 teams that were top of the table throughout Saturday. It started with Chelsea, and then it went to Liverpool, and then City played the night game.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been all over the place, but I mean, it's not too much to say. Salah and Trent are absolute musts. Other than that, like,
so I saw a stat this week that the 3 Liverpool front men have the highest XG out of any other players in the league. So
pretty sure they have the most goals out of anyone in the league.
Yeah,
I think it's Salah, Mane,
like
Jota.
individually as well. Salah, Mane, and Jota have the highest XG out of any other players in the game. I think they're all like pretty similar. They all have like, I think Salah had like 8.5 expected goals, but Jota and Mane both had like 7-ish expected goals. Mm-hmm. And Salah has, 11 goals?
I think he has 12.
11 or 12?
Yeah, and then he has 20 on the season, like between all competitions.
Jota and Mane are both on like 7.
6 or 7, yeah.
So, their attack is just unreal. Obviously, this is the first game in, 3 games that they didn't score 4?
Yeah. I mean, down week, right?
Yeah. What can you do?
They're so good.
I think Robertson is a decent option if you're not a Jota owner. Obviously, I think most everyone is on a triple Liverpool, one way or another. Some people are still on double, which is fine. I just like Salah and Trent are as close to essential as they can possibly be in this game. And, if you want a third slot, choosing between Jota or Robertson, I think is fine. I'll always advocate for the extra attacker in the best attacking team possibly in the league, but I'm not going to argue with you if you want to go with Robbo, because I think he's a good option as well.
Yeah.
Anything else to say on this one, Ben? Any Wolves options FPL wise? I don't think so. I think they were kind of in a tough run.
Jimenez made me mad. I had him for the 2 weeks they played bad teams, and he did nothing.
Yeah, you basically took the exact same punt on Jimenez that I did with Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
For the same, what it is. Wasn't his fixtures Burnley and Norwich?
Norwich, yeah.
Yeah, this is the exact same 2 that I went for Wilson. Literally. That's unlucky.
Yeah, the road.
Yeah, I think Wolves are kind of a no-go at the moment.
Yeah, we can move on to City Watford.
Yep, Watford at home losing 1-3 to City.
Bernardo Silva is just too good right now. I think he has the highest win rate of any player in the Premier League right now, which means like matches that he started, they've won. I think it's like 77% of his Premier League career he's won.
That's crazy, actually.
Of
his entire career
in the Premier League, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's honestly just absolutely mad. Like he might be playing the best soccer in the world right now. Like straight up, he might be like as a midfielder, he might be playing the best footy in the world as a midfielder right now. It's honestly terrifying how good he is.
Yeah,
to watch.
I mean, if you don't consider Salah a midfielder, then I would agree.
I consider him a forward. But like in terms of midfielders right now in the Prem, absolutely in the world, it's arguable. Like he's playing some of the best footy in the world right now.
Yeah, and obviously getting a rest, not traveling, as we said earlier on the pod this week, that's great for Bernardo owners.
He didn't go to Leipzig for their Champions League play date with Leipzig. Like it doesn't matter to them. They've won the group. Leipzig won. I believe that put them in Europa League, which like. Good Lord, that's a strong team for Europa League.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what happens when you're in a group with PSG and Man City. Someone has to be on the short end of the stick. But
yeah, I think he's a good option moving forward. I'm still gonna say every week that if you're a stats person, he doesn't have the best statistics. Like from an XG or XA perspective, he's like beyond overperforming right now.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. He's 7.5 mil. He's set to rise in price tonight, so he'll probably be 7.6 tomorrow. And he's already up to 22, almost 23% ownership in the game. So people are definitely piling on. They like what they see.
A lot of people are loving it.
He had a 15-pointer this week, 10-pointer last week, and then 2 weeks ago, 8-pointer. And then against United, he had an 8-pointer as well. So he's definitely performing really well. He is getting into positions. I was listening to another podcast this week, Ben, and I didn't watch all of this game. I watched some of it. So if you watched it, maybe you can tell me whether or not this is true or not. Mm-hmm. But essentially what they were saying is the front three leaving out Mahrez was very fluid. So like it was Grealish was playing the number 9 most of the time, and then it was Foden on the left, and Bernardo was kind of getting forward more so. But those three were almost like rotating on the number 9.
I don't think that's just that game. I think that's kind of been City's thing for a while, and we've seen where Grealish started as a 9, and then Pep wasn't loving it, so he told Foden to go inside and bring him outside. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of the way that they just kind of do things at City. It's tough to really define one as a number 9 because all their players, bar Mahrez, like you said, he kind of likes to stick to that right wing. Mm-hmm. But most of those players like to have that fluidity where, someone can go forward, I'll draw back. Someone goes out wide, I'll go in. Someone goes in, I go out.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of been their style all season, which makes it so difficult to pick a City midfielder, which is where we're going with this. What City midfielder do we think is the best?
Yeah.
But it makes it difficult to pick one because there's so many options, and it's not like, Grealish is playing the furthest advance. Or back in like early season, it was like, Ferran Torres is the number 9 and Pep loves him and he's scoring, and now I think he's injured. Mm-hmm. But it makes it tough to pick one because there is no like true like, Foden starts as the 9, he plays as the 9, he's in the middle. No, he drops to the left, he drops low, he'll drop and pick up a ball from the center back and ping it out wide. Like there is no true position in that City team, which makes them honestly terrifying to play against because you never get to like man mark someone, and finding where someone is at 24/7 is difficult.
Right. But I think, like you said, a very relevant topic FPL-wise right now is what City midfielder to bring in. I talked about it last week. I think Bernardo's first name on the team sheet still. I think it's very evident now that he didn't travel for, the games this week. I think Bernardo is essential to their midfield, and I think Cancelo is probably the most essential. Maybe you could argue Diaz, but absolutely in terms of moving forward, Cancelo is really vital to this team and creating chances. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an interesting conversation topic. I think Gundogan is still in the conversation. Genuinely, he actually has a better XG and XA than Bernardo in terms of getting into positions to score goals, to make assists. I think a lot of people are going to move on Bernardo based on his past results. But honestly, anyone wanting to go for Gundo, you may be making a better long-term move. I don't know. I mean, it obviously depends on when KDB is playing and when he's not, because they're not going to play a midfield 3 of Gundo, Bernardo, and KDB, right? Mm-hmm. Unless maybe they're playing like Norwich and they can do it, but even then they probably won't because Rodri's a mainstay. Mm-hmm. But I think I would choose Bernardo over Gundo just because of the fear of KDB being in the team,
Yeah, he played today. Yeah. I have Foden in my team, but I think what you just said makes it scarier that they're so essential. Because for this week, right, they don't travel. It's great. Mm-hmm. When it comes back, like you said, the first name on that Champions League round of 16 team sheet is going to be a Bernardo Silva, is going to be a João Cancelo. So when Pep wants them for those games, which he's going to Pep wants the Champions League. City's owners want the Champions League. They've won Prems with him. And I think obviously they're going to go for both. But I think that if the end of the season comes and Pep goes, I brought you a Champions League, but we fell 5 points short of Liverpool, Chelsea, whatever, they'd be like, who cares? You finally brought us this. We finally got one.
Right.
So I think that they will prioritize that, which is why I think that right now, yes, it's all well and good. They don't travel. It's great to throw away game for them today.
Right.
But long term, I think that's what makes it a little bit scarier of if they are the first name on the team sheet, he's going to prioritize them for the Champions League. That's where I think someone Foden, he's a good substitute. He did start the Champions League final, but I still have Foden. So I think he's a great option still. Could Grealish come into this conversation? Oh, his numbers haven't been there, but he might get more playing time in the Premier League to let.
He should have scored in this game. He had a very easy opportunity early on and just shot it directly at.
Could he be getting more
Bachmann.
Premier League moments to make sure that you can get more midfielders into that Champions League side? So it's an interesting puzzle that City are, but I think that for the same reasons that everyone's loving this, he's the first time on the team sheet, I think that's going to be a setback once they get to these more serious games.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I also think Sterling is an option for Maverick managers that want to put the money there. It maybe if you're looking to come off Son and you want a City midfielder, Sterling isn't a horrible option because he's getting minutes now, he's scoring goals, and he's getting in good positions, and I think he's kind of earned Pep's trust a little bit back. So I think he started the last, I want to say 4 or 5 games. Let me look. I want to verify. He started the last 4 games for them. And those games he has a goal, an assist, and a goal. So 3 returns and 4 for Sterling. Not a horrible option. I'll put that out there. I don't think most managers will go for him, but I'm going to say that I think he's a good option.
Mm-hmm. And Watford, on their end, they're about to go into a good run.
Yep, starting this week.
It's not crazy. I'm strongly considering doing a King and Dennis double up.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy. I think that they're about to go into a nice, I think it's like, 4 or 5 weeks of good games.
Yeah, I'll quickly read off their fixtures.
I'll pull it up when I get my team because I have King in it, so don't worry about it. But they're both great options. I think we talked about it last week, which one is which. Both is not a bad shout.
Yeah, both isn't a horrible option. I think, you're going both because of your team structure and you're trying to fit in a couple other players. We've already talked about it. You'll probably get more into it once we get to your team. But, I think there is going to start to be a resurgence of forwards in FPL pretty soon. We've got Bamford back in the game. Calvert-Lewin's set to come back pretty soon, and Everton are about to hit a good run of fixtures. Antonio's going to be back in the conversation. Both these Watford boys are going to be in the conversation. Cristiano Ronaldo is absolutely going to be in the conversation, and so on and so forth. So
Lukaku's coming back. Yeah,
Lukaku's coming back. I just think these striker spots are going to start to become valuable in our teams. And what started off the beginning of the year being super heavily defensively based, I think we may start to see a bit of a shift into the midfield and the strike force. So I agree with you. I think either Dennis or King or even both, if you wanted to go there, just to kind of cover yourself, because it's going to be one or the other scoring their goals at least 80% of the time, right? So King, and we already covered this last week, we're not going to go into depth again. King has the better statistics. He has a better XG, better XA, and is on penalties.
And Dennis has the points.
Dennis has the better points thus far. Looks a bit more threatening in terms of an assist threat, and is a bit cheaper. I think he's set to rise in price again tonight, so they're going to be like 0.1 off of each other by the time this game week starts. So it's kind of just your choice of 50-50 at that point.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. We can move on. I got anything else on this?
No, I don't think I had anything else to say. I think we covered City midfield. We covered Watford strikers. I still think City defense is good. They keep conceding 1 goal a week. I think the clean sheets are coming. I really do. So I think any of the options, Diaz, Cancelo, Walker, good options. I think the second center back slot is a bit riskier. Because I think Stones and Laporte will be viable options moving forward for that. I wouldn't want to go there, but yeah, sweet. Okay, Leeds 2, Brentford 2.
Yeah, good to see Bamford back and amongst the goals, and just for Leeds fans, it's just great to see Bamford back.
Ayling back as well. Luke
yeah, both of them on the score sheet. Ayling with the assist. Rafinha, again, he's the heart of everything they do. And Bamford with the goal. So it's really good to see Leeds getting healthy again. For Brentford, I'm probably rolling in Buemo this week and then getting rid of him, but it was nice to see him bag an assist this week finally. Yeah. It's about time he did something. Hopefully he keeps doing something. I don't expect
it's funny. It's funny that you say you're getting rid of him, right? Because Ivan Toney has contracted corona.
Yeah.
So,
But he's probably only going to be out for like 2 weeks, and then he's back.
but for those 2 weeks, he's going to be playing striker
Yeah, it's
in
Embuemo.
Buemo.
That's why
So
I'm keeping him this week and not taking a -4, honestly.
yeah, for sure.
But
I
I don't want to keep him longer than I have to.
I
Honestly.
don't disagree with you there. I just want to put it out there for our listeners that Embuemo will be playing striker in lieu of Tony while he's out with COVID. Hopefully nobody else on the team contracts it. Hopefully this doesn't become last season where FPL was an absolute chaos the whole time trying to deal with COVID. It was the biggest headache ever, probably the least enjoyable season. But this season has been much better, and hopefully that continues. But yeah, Brentford 2, Leeds 2. I think Leeds probably wanted to get this win, but Brentford held on. It was a good game overall. Sergi Canos getting a goal, and Baptiste. I didn't even know he was on this team, Ben, to be honest with you.
No one did. Like, literally no one did. I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of like a game that one of these teams really would have wanted to win with their position in the table, but no one could just figure it out, and they kept kind of beating each other.
Yeah. Well, Leeds.
I mean, for Leeds, I think it's just very interesting. The Bamford is back. That's the big takeaway for me in this game. Is Bamford back?
I think we do need to talk about Leeds fixtures though, specifically, especially for I think there's a lot of Rafinha owners out there still, like myself. Their fixtures of their next four, they play Chelsea, City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. That's about as tough as it gets, to be honest.
Yeah.
So they play Chelsea next week, City the week after, Arsenal the week after that, and Liverpool the week after that. And all of the games against Chelsea, City, and Liverpool are away. They only play at home against us.
Yikes.
So that is very, very difficult. You could make an argument to hold Rafinha for those just purely based on, festive fixtures. You might want a deep bench, and Rafinha will start all of these games. There's no question that when he's healthy, he'll be starting, and he may find a little bit more room to actually make runs in on counterattacks against some of these teams. But obviously, it's more difficult teams, so I wouldn't back it fully, but there are some upsides to it, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of their upcoming fixtures. I think a lot of people will probably be taking out Rafinha soon, and I would say Bamford's pretty much a non-option for the next 4 weeks at least.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Yeah, not much to say on this, honestly.
Cool. Yeah, Tony's out, and yeah, we talked about everything that's relevant there. We'll move on. Man United getting the 1-0 at Old Trafford with Rangnick's first game
in charge. It was a absolute screamer by Fred. He's been having a brilliant 2-game week, bar hurting his own goalkeeper for the first goal against Arsenal.
Yeah.
But he had an assist, and he drew the penalty against us later. So, and then he scored this week with a screamer. I saw Ronaldo and apparently making jokes on social media, did Fred actually just kick that with his right foot and stuff? And Fred was like, yeah, bro, I have a right foot and stuff. So the spirits at Man United seem to be up.
Yeah.
They are going into one of the most long, terrific run of fixtures that I've seen in FPL this year.
Mm-hmm.
They just have 10 straight weeks of just bottom half of the table teams.
Yeah.
It's something insane. So that being said, I don't want to say necessity, but Ronaldo's a very good choice. Yeah. I don't want to say necessity.
No, I won't say necessity either.
Ronaldo is a very, very good choice for you to have right now. And obviously they're in the 16 of Champions League. They have a Champions League game tomorrow. I think it's against Young Boys, who actually beat them, funny enough, in their first game. But I don't think it matters to them. So I expect a lot of players to not travel and not play. Mm-hmm. I would expect Ronaldo to be on that list of players that aren't playing unless he wants to go tie his own record of being one of 2 players to score in every Champions League group stage game. Fun fact, that actually the only other player to do that, it happened this year. Any guesses?
Yeah, I do have guesses. And I don't watch a whole lot of Champions League, so if I get this right.
I do, so go on.
I'm blanking on the name. Give me a second. It's the Ajax striker, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's Sebastian Haller.
Let's go!
He became the second player ever to score in all Champions League group stage games of a campaign. The only player to do that before him was Ronaldo back when he was at Real Madrid. Ronaldo has a chance to do it again if he
I think
scores
that's
against
so
the boys.
interesting that Haller is doing so well at Ajax and was pretty much a bust at West Ham.
Yeah, he switched his national team, switched his domestic league, and now he's literally playing like one of the best strikers in the world.
That's crazy.
So good for him.
Yeah,
Absolute
I think
monster.
Man United's an interesting one from a lot of different points of view. I think, Greenwood came on as a substitute in this game to get the assist for Fred, but I think their defense is going to be a bit more solid under Rangnick. One interesting one is Dallo, actually. He's 4.4 in FPL. He's 0.5% owned, so pretty much nobody has him at the moment. I don't know how long Aaron Wan-Bissaka is out. Actually, I want to take a look at that real quick, see if there's any.
Well, it's not just him. It's Shaw's out as well right now. With
Yeah, but
Telles
I heard
coming in.
Shaw is pretty much back pretty soon. So
Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to just get his place back. Like Telles has played well.
yeah, maybe.
And they
Aaron
dropped 20
Wan-Bissaka
mil
isn't
on
even
Telles.
flagged in FPL anymore, so I don't know
so
if
he
he's
should be back.
that
If
injured
he-
anymore.
I don't know what's going to happen. He's not a bad player. He didn't do anything wrong, so I expect him to come back. He's the better defender of the two. Dallo probably a little better going forward, but
Yeah.
defensively, Wan-Bissaka is arguably the best 1v1 defender in
Yeah,
the
I
league.
think De Gea is one to look at if you're on wildcard. 5 mil goalkeeper, and he tends to rack up saves. He's very, very similar to Ramsdale, to be honest. I think they're very comparable at this point. Play for pretty decent
Big
teams.
six clubs,
and will rack up saves and potential for clean sheets moving forward. And yeah, I think Ronaldo's a great option. I'll just go ahead and say it. He's already in my team. That was my Kane replacement. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to have him in my team moving forward with these fixtures. I think he's a great option. I also think that Rashford is going to be somewhat of an option going forward, Ben. I think he's interesting. It's a lot of money to invest in a midfielder that you're not 100% sure is going to start every week, in my opinion. Because Sancho's kind of similar. Cavani is back from injury, so who knows if Rangnick wants to do a partnership of Cavani, Ronaldo.
Top, yeah.
That would be interesting. They could play off each other pretty decently. We know that Cavani leads the line in terms of pressing, probably better than any other player on United. Maybe Rashford has a little bit potential there, but Cavani's really good at it.
It's so clear. Cavani is so good at what he does with pressing.
So I think that's a possibility to be for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say on those two. Crystal Palace, I still have Conor Gallagher. I'm not freaking out. He's still good value for what I bought him at 5.5. He's up to like 6.1, 6.2.
They have decent fixtures coming up.
Yeah,
if you need bench
fixtures.
fodder, he's not bad. There's options. But yeah, I think Ronaldo's the main guy at United. If you want to take a punt on a defender, if you want someone that just always plays, it's Maguire. The fullbacks obviously is more risk reward potential there with Wan-Bissaka and Dallo, and now Telles and Shaw competing for spots. Yeah. Varane was back in training today for the first time in a long time.
Good information. That'll be a big boost to them defensively.
That's a huge grab for them defensively. So that defense is only going to get stronger. I don't think he'll play this weekend, but maybe next week he'll play. But he was back in training for the first time today. So something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I'll leave it there. But yeah.
Cool. We already went over Spurs, Norwich, so we'll go ahead and skip that. Villa, Leicester, Ben.
Oh, what a job Gerard's doing.
He's marching on, brother.
He is. He's doing great. If you own Konsa in FPL,
claps. We gotta give him claps.
I don't know why, but like you've won. Like
yeah, he was the highest scoring FPL player this week, Ben. He had a 17.
No, literally, he was insane. Like he 2 goals to beat Leicester. Like no way, bro. But yeah, obviously, like we said, Vardy did not start. I don't think he even played this game, did he?
Nope.
Yeah, he didn't play. Obviously, he's not injured, as I mentioned at the top of the show. That is solely to focus on their clash with Napoli on Thursday. Massive game. Honestly, this should be released on Wednesday, so make sure you tune into that one on Thursday. It's going to be a terrific game. Harvey Barnes. All right.
Okay.
Come on.
Harvey Barnes.
All right, guys.
Dude, you know Barnes owners out there that quit the game after game week 7 are just celebrating. They just like casually open their app for the first time.
Like, oh yeah, nice points. Bonus point too from Harvey. Villa, obviously the thing is, where their goals are coming from. Is it going to be Buendia? Is it going to be Watkins? Is it going to be oh my gosh, Ings? They also signed that Jamaican winger Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like a lot of riches up front that we talk about every week, so I won't overdo it this week. I would probably stay away just because I don't think there's one main guy for them.
Interesting.
That's my opinion. I just think it's a little spread out, honestly. And I also don't expect them to keep this incredible form. I think they're on that new managerial bounce, and I think eventually they will regress. So I'm personally staying away from Villa.
Okay.
And yeah, but for Leicester, I think we talk about Leicester every week, so we know what the options are: Madison, Vardy, and Barnes, of course.
Yeah. Leicester is a stay away defensively. They don't really have any options other than Barnes, Vardy, and Madison. Yeah, but as far as Aston Villa goes, I think it's interesting that you say that you're staying away from them. I'm actually looking at them pretty heavily. They have a really good run of fixtures starting in game week 17. They only have 2 games inside from game week 17 to game week 28. They only play 2 top 6 teams, and those two games are Chelsea and United, both at home. Otherwise, they have Norwich, Burnley, Leeds, Brentford, Everton, Leeds, Newcastle, Watford, Brighton, Southampton. So
yeah, I mean, for the immediate short term, I'm staying away. Maybe if I want to change my team later, I'll look at them. But I just think that this new managerial bounce will run out for them.
I don't disagree with you there. I just still think Villa are actually a decent team. I think they were really underperforming under Dean Smith. And I think Gerrard's doing a good job of unlocking their potential now that he's gotten there. I back him to continue to do well. Maybe they will regress a little bit here. But I think they have some viable fantasy options in Ollie Watkins, in maybe Cash, I think is a decent option in defense. I wouldn't really want to jump on, McGinn is like a super
I wouldn't jump on
I compare
McGinn.
him to
I wouldn't jump on McGinn.
James
it's not
Ward-Prowse
worth it.
in
very
fantasy.
like when he goes off.
You just have no idea when he's going to score.
Common.
That's the issue with him.
I think he's one of the players that's nodded to win Premier League Player of the Month actually this past month.
McGinn?
I don't know if he'll win it.
Interesting.
I don't know if he'll win. Yeah, McGinn. I know he's one of the finalists. I think everyone's going for Trent, but I know McGinn has also been getting a lot of prop for it.
Okay. Interesting.
We'll see.
Cool.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, I think there's some decent options there, and Ollie Watkins is probably the top of the list there with Ings not playing consistently, and yeah, I'll leave it at that. I think Tyrone Mings could be a decent option as well. Martinez maybe as a keeper option.
No, not Emmy.
You hate Emmy.
Such a fraud.
All right, well, let's talk about our fraudulent team, Ben. Everton 2, Arsenal 1.
Stay away from our attack. Don't buy any of our strikers because we shouldn't. I don't know what we're doing. Odegaard with 2 goals and 2 is interesting. Tierney, we told you he'd return. He had so many crosses. He was bound to get one. He got one in this game. Yeah, we every time we score, every time we take the lead, there's back-to-back games we've lost after having the lead too.
Yeah.
Every time we
just
take
look
the
so
lead,
negative after we score.
Just drop. And it's not, we talked about it yesterday. For me, it's one of 2 things. I know that it's not a proper argument and it's a fallacious argument, but for me, I think of it as 2 options. There's one, it's Arteta's tactics to drop back after we score, which I don't think it is because he's constantly pushing up and he said it isn't. Or 2, he can't get the players to do what he wants once we take the lead, which is equally as terrifying in my opinion. But every time that Arsenal take the lead on someone, which, like I said, 2 weeks in a row now, it's not just these 2. We've done it successfully against other teams, too, that aren't as good attacking or as deep rosters where we can hold on to those 1-0 leads. But every time we take those 1-0 leads, those 2-0 leads, even when against Spurs and Villa, when we were up 3-0 against both of them, we're just like, no, sit, and just defend. And it's crazy because we go from just dominating these games where we just kind of end it. We're just like, no, go on, get back in the game. Come at us, allow it, we'll defend it until we can't, and we don't. And it's mad frustrating, but Everton deserved the win on the day. They were the better team. They had 2 goals.
For sure. I mean, Richarlison was off, especially that second one by a hair.
The second one was ridiculous. The first one was totally fair. He was a fair bit off on the first one. That one's totally fair. The second one, if that was the other way around, I'd be livid.
It's just sad to watch this game objectively and look at it and be like, wow, Richarlison is better than both of our strikers.
Yeah. And then Also, I don't know what the deal is, why Godfrey was on the field. He should have gotten a red card.
It's so
Like
bad.
it's another case. I saw it all over Arsenal Twitter. I know you hate him, but it's a great case of if Granit Xhaka did that, you know what's happening. He's sent to the gulag. He is literally in prison in England. And it just feels like there's a double standard. And like they said, Godfrey's not somewhat known for that, but like I cannot believe that he stamped on our guys. Like literally just stepped on his face, just on his face.
Yeah, he stepped
no,
on Tommy's face. I mean, I think what got him off is like you could see that number one, it didn't look very intentional to me. Number two, he didn't bear down with his foot. Like his foot like kind of started to step on him, but he didn't put his weight down on it. If he would have put his weight down on it,
his face was bleeding. You could see the cleat mark. There's weight on that. There's weight on that.
Yeah,
and he looked away, but he had to look to see where he was.
I'm not defending the guy. I think it was I think it was probably a red cardable offense, but
I think it's a very obvious where like I'll put it this way, a guy doesn't play if David Luiz did that, forget about it. He's gone. And that's not even with us, with Chelsea.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think tactically Arsenal really missed Emile Smith-Rowe.
No forward play there. We had Martinelli come on, who had a great game against United, and then he was forced over to the left instead of the right.
I think he played very well this week.
I think Lacazette didn't exist this game, like genuinely. He's so frustrating to watch. Specifically, one thing for me that really makes me mad watching him is the amount of times he'll foul someone when we're in the attacking third. When we lose the ball in the attacking third, and he'll just chop someone down, which gives them a free kick out. Yeah, that's what really frustrates me watching him play. In terms of FPL assets for Arsenal, I have Ben White in my team. Chris has Ramsdale. We play Southampton at home this week. We are a lot better at home than we are on the road. I do back us to get a clean sheet and hopefully a win.
Yeah.
In terms of attack, there's no value there, like at all.
I think Emile Smith-Rowe is still viable, but I think he's the only one.
He's a midfielder, not a forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Odegaard is a sneaky shout. He is on free kicks for us. He does take corners every now and then. Mm-hmm. It really depends on the side. Honestly, it's so weird. Like depends what side we want, in swinger, out swinger. Sometimes he takes corners.
Yeah.
And we do have a very good set piece record in the Premier League this season. Very good set piece record. So we'll see, but I don't know. For Everton, Damari Gray was the man of the match by a mile. They should be getting Calvert-Lewin back within the next 2 weeks, I believe, maybe less.
Yeah. What a goal from Damari Gray. Take nothing away from him. I said earlier on in the season I don't think he's that great of an FPL asset. I don't necessarily – I mean, the thing is those are the goals he's scoring, right? It's just like these crazy bangers.
He had a 0.02 XG on that.
Yeah.
So it's not likely, but it's a screamer, and it sunk Arsenal.
Every time I watch Everton, I am beyond impressed with their main man in midfield. Like I just think he's so good.
Who, Doucouré?
Doucouré, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a monster.
He's so unbelievably good for them.
I thought that when he was at Watford. I couldn't believe Everton was the biggest move he got because I was like, this guy belongs in a top 6 club.
I would take Doucouré at Arsenal in a heartbeat.
I think any big 6 club would grab Doucouré right now.
Bro.
He's a monster. When he's fit, he's a monster.
He is everything that we want Partey to be.
Literally, he's up and down the field. Partey, obviously, I think tactically he's playing a little more defensive. But he's been shambles. Like our midfield, like we brought Xhaka back this week from injury, and I think he played well. He did pick up a yellow card, but it's Xhaka. That's always going to happen.
Yeah, well, I think
he should have been taken off around 60, 65 minutes because he was just gassed. And that's not on him. He hasn't played in 2.5 months. It's on the manager to not recognize you can't play a guy for 96 minutes who hasn't played for 2.5 months. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to blame Xhaka for that. I think he did everything he could. And then I saw people complaining on Twitter too, like, oh, he let the guy go through for Damari Gray's goal. And I'm like, well, if he tackles him, he gets a red card and there's 5 minutes left.
Well, you could put that back to the fact that his first yellow card was really, really poor. So he gives himself these pointless yellow cards and then is in positions where he can't make a tackle when he really needs to.
I mean, the last goal was whatever. I mean, someone could have stepped up and that was just a screamer. I don't want to put that on him either. But I don't think he should have been on the pitch. I think that he should have been subbed off.
I agree.
Defensive midfielders on the bench were waiting to come on, and it doesn't make sense.
In terms of Everton from FPL point of view, like you said, DCL's set to be back in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Game week 19, they go into a really, really nice run. I'm not going to go through that fixture run right now because we're still a few weeks off of it, but I think he'll be on the radar pretty soon. He's dropped in price a couple times as well. Damari Gray's an okay option. I would still personally take Decore over him.
Richarlison's an option as well.
Yeah, Richarlison's an okay option.
Did you see what he tweeted after the game?
Yeah, hat trick.
Yeah, he tweeted he scored 2 offside goals and obviously one that counted, and he held the ball.
I did obviously we're an Arsenal fan and I didn't care, but like if you're watching that game from like an unbiased point of view, you had to feel for him. Like after the first 2 goals
the second offside one was ridiculous. The first one, it's like, okay, yeah, like you were a clean like 3, 4, 5 feet offside, like whatever. The second one was like literally like a matter of inches, and you're just like, oh dear God. Yeah. But anyways, let's go into your team for the week.
Okay, yeah, we'll move into it. I had a pretty decent week, all things considered. I'm pretty happy with it. I ended on 53 points. Average was 43. Game week rank of inside 2 mil, so not horrible, not great either. Obviously, I feel like my week every week depends on, like, it could have been so much better if I had the double.
If Watford don't score, you're like up another 10 points or something.
Yeah, for sure. And then Kane, obviously very disappointing. The main players this week that performed really well for managers that had them were Son, Bernardo Silva, and I guess Callum Wilson, to be honest, he was the one out of those 3 that I had.
Richarlison too, if you have him for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't think many people do. But yeah, I mean those are the main ones that kind of made or braked. Or also Jared Bowen.
Oh yeah, he was cooking.
But yeah, I think I was happy with it overall. Trent with the bonus points magnets got the double City clean sheet wipeout. Unfortunately, Arsenal did not keep our clean sheet. Salah has, what does he have? I want to look. 1 blank all season.
Yeah, like game week 2, I think.
Game week 2 against Burnley is the one.
Yeah.
The one that is insane.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous, Ben.
Yeah, no, he's not real, bro. He's not.
I just don't think you can. I don't think you can even. I don't know. I cannot advocate to take the armband off of him at all.
No, there's never, like, we always had the who could captain debate. It doesn't matter, bro. Like if you gamble off Salah and you don't win, like you're so.
I mean, there are weeks obviously that you could.
This week I have Son and Salah, and if I put it on Son, I would have gotten more points.
Right.
But also, like, dude, no, like that's just such a risk.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we've ever seen this kind of consistency.
No, this consistency is insane. He's insane. But anyways, why don't you talk about your transfers since you've already mentioned them a couple times?
Okay, yeah, I actually did them already.
Yeah, I know they're in. So
I hesitate to reveal my second transfer, but I'm gonna do it because we're on a podcast, so we might as well just do it. So, brought Ronaldo in for Kane and swapped out Rafinha for Jared Bowen. Pretty straightforward moves for me this week. I was originally thinking about taking out Wilson, downgrading him to a Watford forward, and then moving Johnson up to another defender just to add some bench depth. But at the moment, I was happy to just not take a -4 and just play within my means. I had 2 free transfers, so I'd use them both. Happy to give Wilson one more run out against Leicester, whose defense hasn't been that great anyways, and it didn't make sense for me to take a -4 this week. So this is how we line up ahead of this upcoming week. I think it actually looks really solid. I have all home fixtures in my defense, and then 3 out of 4 home fixtures in my midfield as well. And then Burnley away is not a bad fixture, and then Norwich away is not a bad fixture for Ronaldo either. Yeah, pretty happy with it, to be honest. I'll probably be... I'm not sure what my next move is. My thoughts are maybe move Wilson out after this week for maybe one of the Watford boys or an Ollie Watkins, but I'm not sure at the moment. Obviously, there may be some injuries that happen between now and then. So, but yeah, that's how I'm looking moving forward, and I'm pretty happy with the moves I've made. Yeah, that's about it. I'm up to an overall rank of 245K, which I'm happy with. Still trying to move up the ranks. One of the players in our mini league, I'm gonna give him a shout out because he's having an insane season. Jake is on like 1,002 points overall right now, which is basically 60
Unreal.
points ahead of me. He's almost top 20K in the world. So he's like 22K, which is amazing. I was telling him basically, you know, how you measure it is top 100K is okay. Top 50K is good. And then top 10K is amazing. So being in between top 10 and top 50K is really good. My best ever finish was, I think, 40K at the end of the season. So, yeah, hopefully he can keep it up. Actually, hopefully not. I'd like to catch him at some point, but, you know.
Dude, he's cooking.
He's cooking.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm super happy for him. Hey, we're going to plug it right now. He's watched every episode of the podcast this year, guys. Coincidence?
Facts.
I don't know. I don't know. No,
Here,
but
I'll
take
share.
nothing away from him. He's having a great season, and maybe ignoring us on some things is why he's doing so well. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
he didn't get a Aubameyang in his team, but here's my team. I had a good week as well, 56 points this week. So happy with that. Obviously would have been happier if Chelsea and Arsenal played defense. Kind of like Chris, I have Trent as the savior. Really good returns from my midfield this week. And Buemo assist, Salah captain, Foden assist, and Son goal and assist.
what'd you finish on this week? Sorry, I missed it.
56.
Okay, you beat me out this week.
Yeah, just by 3 though, not by much.
Nice, very nice.
And then a front line that kind of blanked. St. Max, he will be leaving my team soon, but I'm going to keep him for Leicester away. I want the headband to score 1 more goal for me. And then we talked about it, I want to show you later. So yeah, you have like 4 weeks right here of just like outstanding fixtures for them. So I'm a big fan of this. What I'm probably going to roll my transfer this week. Next week, I might be here. I can just go to transfers and do it. I want to get rid of Mbeumo, and I kind of want to get rid of St. Max. So what I'm thinking is I might go get Bowen. I'll just show you guys how it works basically from a financial perspective in my team. And then I'm debating if I want to go get Dennis and do a double up on the Watford forwards, leave me with $500,000 in the bank.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad, to be fair.
It doesn't look bad. Obviously, Sissoko's just bench fodder, so like ignore the Watford triple, and then these are bench fodder as well. But yeah, that's where it leaves me. I'm not 100% sold on those, but we'll see. At some point soon, because of West Ham's great fixtures here after Arsenal, they have a lot. I do want to go grab Kurt Zuma for this stretch at some point. I want to bring him back.
You could upgrade probably Ben White to Kurt Zuma with that money, right?
Could. Yeah.
Or actually, how much is Kurt Zuma? I don't even know.
I think he's 5'4".
Oh yeah, then you need
so
more
I would
money
need
there.
to get rid of. Let me double check that. Yeah, he's 5'4". So I could potentially get rid of someone else, or potentially do a White and Foden.
Well, and you may have to get rid of Son based off information, right?
Son,
so
yeah, and if Son's that, then yeah, then it has to be that.
Your entire
yeah,
thing
so
could
that's
change.
my thoughts. It could. Everything that I said could completely swap. If Son's not in the lineup Thursday, then I might just get him out, bring in a cheaper midfielder, upgrade one of the striker positions next week, like St. Max or something. Maybe take a -4. I don't know what I'm doing, but
you got a lot of options.
I do. Anyways, here I'll do it if you want. We can go ahead and look at next week's fixtures. We'll stay on.
Oh,
here.
I forgot you took a -4 this week, so you technically ended on 52.
Yeah, technically 52. Yeah,
Cool.
So 1 point behind you, but I like it.
Nice.
Because I avoided the Ronaldo price rise, which is nice for me too.
Okay. What are we on?
And then, so here's next week's fixtures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we want to do? Captaincy options, or is it just Salah? Like, does it really matter?
I mean, we can talk about captaincy options. I think Ronaldo is actually somewhat viable. Sorry, I'm getting a call on. I don't know if you guys can hear this or not. If you can, I apologize. I'm getting a call on Discord right now for some reason. I don't know why, and I can't cancel it either.
You're good. No, I can't hear it. It just like lagged for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Ronaldo at Norwich is an option. I think that I don't know. It's tough. Obviously Salah. I think that you could maybe get away with captaining a Chelsea player against Leeds, even though they're slowly getting healthier. I also think, depending how Thursday goes, a Vardy punt against Newcastle is not bad at all.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't know if he'll start though, right? Because if he's playing Thursday, I don't know. Brendan Rodgers has talked multiple times about how he's not, super keen on playing him twice in 1 week. But if he does start, I think he's a good option.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ronaldo's a good option as well against Norwich. And, but I think most people won't come off of Salah, and rightfully so.
Yeah, Salah's obviously the GOAT. So.
Okay, well, did we have any questions this week, Ben? Can you hear me?
We did not get questions, so we can go straight to player picks.
We didn't get any questions? I thought we had one. No?
Did we? I'll check the Twitter, but I may have not seen it.
Yeah. Jake actually sent in one. He said, how much does the match being played at home or away affect your decision making on deciding who to start? So I'm assuming that question is he has a couple players trying to decide who to start, who to bench, and maybe one of them has home, one of them has away. I think it really just all depends on, the player's individual form. I think it depends on the fixture itself as well. So I think all of those things are all more important.
Like Norwich
than
away
home or
is
away.
not Chelsea away. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I think it matters kind of,
I think
but
it's
not
team
that
and
much.
its player before the home or away.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I wouldn't be stressing about home or away. Like I said, I think that Norwich away and Ronaldo's a great matchup. I think Chelsea away for Bamford's an awful matchup. I think it's just really team and player and fixture. So.
Yep. Okay, cool. Well, let's get into our player picks, Ben. I don't even remember who we picked. All right, I picked Kane, who got a 2-pointer.
I took Cancelo.
You picked
who probably had a
Cancelo,
2-pointer.
who
so I'm still one behind
also
you.
got a 2-pointer. So,
2-pointer.
golly, we cannot break this deadlock, basically.
One behind you. Yeah,
so, right, so I'm up to 78,
to
and you're up to 77.
Yeah, so we're right there. Still, again.
Who went first this week? You went first last week.
I went first last week, yeah.
So
you're
I'm up
now.
first this week, game week 16. Let's see. I got some decent options this week, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I like Watford Brentford. I like City Wolves. I like Chelsea Leeds. I like United Norwich. And I like Leicester Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to choose from here. This is a tough one. I think Mason Mount's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to go there. I want to go for a Man City midfielder, but I don't know who to pick. And Wolves are decent defensively, so maybe not. Huh. Who have I used from Chelsea? Sorry, I just want to look real quick.
You're good.
Have I used a single Chelsea player? Yeah, I used Havertz. That's the only one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Leeds are going to score on Chelsea, though. I was about to say Reece James or Alonso, but I feel like they're going to score on Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waffling.
A little bit.
West Ham played Burnley. That's not bad. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Kurt Zuma.
I love that. I love that pick. What a legend. That's an absolute legendary pick right there.
You're
He's
welcome.
Such a player. He's such a player.
All right.
Have I used Rudiger yet?
Have you used Rudiger? No, you have not.
Then I'm going to use Rudiger because I think they do keep a clean sheet against Leeds.
Okay. We're both
All right,
going
so
for some center backs.
two Chelsea or former Chelsea center backs, two big boys, two goal threats, two center backs this week. Can we finally break the deadlock? Probably not. It's been 3 weeks.
We'll probably be back here next week with 2 pointers from
2
both
points
of them.
each, and it'll be super fun. But anyways, guys, that is episode 16. If you're watching, make sure you drop a like and subscribe down below. We are on Instagram as well as Twitter. Those are both under the same handle at Borderline FPL. We're trying to get into the Instagram Reels game, as well as we're still on Twitter. So you can DM us on either one, honestly, and just ask us your questions. Tell us why you're triple captaining Kurt Zuma this week because Chris told you to.
Yeah.
I respect it if you do. I don't blame you. I might if he was in my team. I want him in my team again. He's a legend. But yeah, I think that does it. Make sure that you like, subscribe, Twitter, Instagram. Am I missing anything?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
I
I'm
think that
missing
about does
anything.
it.
I think that does it, guys. So thank you for spending your Wednesday with us, or Thursday or Friday, whenever you watch this. Make sure to keep an eye on the Champions League and Europa League matches this week. Hopefully Spurs get knocked out. That would be awesome.
That's what
And
we've resulted to at this point.
oh, bro, even if we were top of the table, I'd still be rooting for that.
That's
On
fair.
God, on
That's
God.
fair.
Which we will be soon. So anyways, guys, until then, we will see you soon.
See you next time, guys. Peace.